I'm gonna miss you
But
guys.
it's just, it's making contact. We have to fill out.
Yeah.
All right, it being 7 PM on Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, we'll begin tonight's Select Board meeting. The first item on the agenda is reorganization of the board. Are there any nominations for the Select Board Chair?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Julie.
I'll second.
Are there any other, well, don't we,
I don't
you
think
can,
he is. Oh, you don't
yeah,
need a
it's
second.
all, you, are there any other nominations? Okay. There being none, all in favor of Julie?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and then I'll accept, do we switch now or after?
Yeah, she's in charge.
There you go.
Oh, I just set my, I just took all my stuff out.
Honestly, weight off your
This might be
shoulders.
clunky.
Just go to the gap early and often, that's right.
Thank you. Switching. Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. All right. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
Mr. Chairman, I'll nominate Sean.
Sean Kerrigan on deck. Would anyone like to
I thought
second?
you just said they don't have to second.
No, but I was, not to make this awkward, Madam Chair, I'll nominate Matt Codes.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no
There was
need for
no-
a second. So, oh, I gotta,
Okay, so there's no second on the first nomination?
We don't need a second, I
Don't
think we
need-
have two. No.
Oh, two nominees, okay. Help me out here, what do we do now?
Now we call for a vote.
Now we call for a vote. All those in favor of Sean Kerrigan? All those in favor of Matt Kobus? Okay. Matt Kobus, the vice chair.
and then
Nominations for clerk?
I'll nominate Sean Kerrigan.
Dirty dog, going to jail.
Any more nominations? Okay, all those in favor of Sean Kerrigan for clerk?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. There we have it. Okay, is anyone here for public comment? No. Okay, next item. Review of minutes for May 1st, 2024.
I'll, motion to approve the minutes from May 1st.
Second?
Any discussion? I have one item, and I don't have it right in front of me, but the first sentence says, "Everybody's here," and then right after it, it says, "Ed DeVault is not here." So I think
What?
on the minutes that I saw,
Oh,
Yeah, sorry, there's no ad. Yep.
so can we addend?
The minutes from May 1st?
Yeah, May 1st minutes, can we addend them,
Amend.
amend them to, it has everyone is present in the first sentence, and then it says, Mr. DeVault is absent. He was absent May 1st, so if we can just make that update.
Thank you.
All in favor of approving minutes?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is the downtown consultant contract renewal. Community and Economic Development Director Phil Duffy is requesting an additional ARPA authorization in the amount of $850 to renew the downtown consultant agreement for fiscal year 2025. Hello?
Madam Chairman, thank you, congratulations.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kobus, thank you for your service in the capacity as chair. You did an excellent job.
Thank you very much.
I'm here for the third time, for the third round, requesting ARPA funding to continue downtown consultant services for the coming fiscal year. This is along an outline that I presented to you back in 2021, I believe, looking to use these funding for 4 years, this being the third year. When I originally proposed them, I proposed a 3.5% increase from year to year, but actually since inflation has actually dropped a bit, I was looking over our spending over the last year. So this actually is revised to represent a 3% increase instead over the prior year. Small amount of money, but it's more consistent. It represents the thinking that went into the original proposal. I have before you a memo that includes a motion for your consideration and an outline of some of the accomplishments over the last year, some of the accomplishments and some of the continuing tasks. Lee, who's filled that position for the last 2 years, is sitting behind me in case you have any questions. She can provide any answers, but as the Director of the Community and Economic Development Office, I'd like to say that Lee has been nearly indispensable over the last 2.5 years. The ability of the office, the capacity of the office has grown greatly. Lee is able, not only do we have more hours to dedicate to the tasks and responsibilities and initiatives of the office, but Lee's strengths and capabilities complement mine and in some cases negate my deficiencies. Speaking personally, it's been a very productive working relationship. And I'm here to request that your board fund it for an additional year.
I will make a motion to, that the board authorize the use of the $87,850 of ARPA funds to be utilized for contract services and expenses to continue downtown consultant services through June 30th, 2025.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Madam,
Thank you. I'm just curious, are we gonna somehow, or at some point, just put this position into the budget?
I guess that was my question.
Okay.
Well, just a long term.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're out of ARPA this year.
I'd rather get
Have we
some
checked
type
the
of
temperature of the finance committee and
Sure.
the personnel board?
If that's something we want to do, if there is to be a second person in the office, we might want to look comprehensively at what skills might serve the community in the best interest. It certainly would include legal skills, but keeping in mind that if we create a position, it's probably going to be here for, longer than me. If you guys allow me, I'll be here for another 8 years. But the office has a lot of responsibilities in terms of things like grant administration, grant writing. Lee's community development and social service side. I think we should have a discussion as to what that job description would be and vet it before bringing it to the personnel board and the finance committee. If that's something we want to do for, say, the next fiscal year. If not, we have to commit funds through 2026 by December of this year. So if we're going to have those discussions and we want to supplant ARPA funds with town funds, we need to get that ball rolling this year. If it's something that the board wishes to do, I can talk with Mike and to understand what the procedure is for creating a position. I really don't know. But we can get that ball rolling and see if we can get something. I don't know if 12 months is a realistic timeline to create a position and find its pay grade and all those kinds of things, but it's something we can look at.
Yeah, and my 26 and 24 is crossed up, so I knew the end of the year was a deadline.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, I figured we had 26, okay. Well, it's something.
Any more discussion?
Madam Chair, if I could, there are several items under Town Administrator Report that I was going to just brief the board on. Several of them are community and economic development items, so if Mr. Duffy's here, I may just turn it over to him and have him take those while
Okay.
he's here.
Is it,
But after the vote.
Well, let's finish that.
is there, yeah, I was gonna say, is it related to this, or we can, all right. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Lee.
welcome back, another year.
So I'll make a motion to move out of order.
Okay,
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving the town administrator report forward.
Oh, well, I don't have a copy of Mike's administrative report in front of you, but I did email him over a couple of bullet items to include in the report, just updates on certain activities going on. And now that I don't have it in front of me, I don't have the exact dollar numbers, but I'll give you a rough idea. In the Community and Economic Development Office, we have recently applied for 2 separate grants. One to the Federal Highway Administration's Safe Streets for All program, This is a program funded at the federal level to the tune of $5 billion over 5 years. It states a goal of zero road fatalities, pedestrian or driver fatalities, and looks to fund improvements to infrastructure as identified by communities and as tested against the data that the Federal Highway Administration holds on things like crash incidents, speed, all these kinds of things. We applied for a grant of, I believe, $355,000. You guys probably have it in writing in front of me. Everything okay, Sean?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't realize these robot cameras up here, and I just got
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I never noticed those before.
Me too. I'm sorry, I signed off on those, I didn't realize.
It's like you were
Yeah.
hypnotized
Is this
by
such an
the robot.
alarming thing?
Yeah, Dave is watching
Grants are
there.
so alarming. Yeah.
A Federal Highway Administration grant, I believe, was in the amount of $355,000. So that would fund the development of a community safety plan, which is the threshold requirement to make an application for capital projects in this program. And also 3, what they call demonstration projects, lower cost installations to be done simultaneously with the safety plan. Those include installing pedestrian lighting underneath 3 railroad bridges, the bridge on Main Street, the bridge on Brook Street, and the bridge on Greeley Street. Those are, if you've walked under them at night, you know they're a little dark. It includes, and those are recommended in our complete streets plan, by the way. It includes the installation of 3 rectangular rapid flashing beacons, which are the crosswalk beacons, on Main Street near Rite Aid, on Mechanic Street, and at the intersection of Union Street and Chestnut Street. And if Matt, you can recall, those were all recommended, the traffic committee in March recommended those for further study. So if they're warranted, the funding will be there. And the other is what they call basically a paint improvement at the intersection of Washington Street and Brook Street, which is along the main pedestrian path from Lakeside to CVS and Walgreens and Hannaford's. And it's a super wide intersection, but just with paints or cones to indicate where cars should go so that pedestrians aren't at risk for such a long stretch. Simple, low-cost projects. There's a local share required for that grant, but Mass DOT has already indicated that they would be willing to fund all, if not most, of the local share. They are flush with money, and they're doing this for a number of communities. So we made that application, I think, May 15th, and we await word in the fall. We also applied last week to the MassWorks program, $770,000 grant to make repairs.
Sorry, 70 or 700?
$770,000 request. Total project cost is about $1.1 million, $1.04 million, I think, $1.04 million, to make critical repairs to the existing culvert, Canopy Brook culvert under Main Street and Church Street, and also to dredge about 1,600 feet of that culvert, work that I'm pretty sure has not been done in more than 50 years. So there's a local share for that. It's $270,000. I think town is putting in $260,000. Cunningham put in $10,000. He also funded the first phase of assessments, which were about $15,000, as well as some other improvements that affect the culvert but are on his property. The local share is from the town meeting article that was approved Monday before last, the $3.2 million. So if we get that, we will be able to fix the most egregious segment of that drainage system and continue in following years to seek funding to make other recommended improvements to minimize the risk of flooding that this infrastructure presents to some strategically important areas in town, to transportation, to the operation of essential services like the elementary school and fire station, and to private property. We also received word that you may have had this in your packet. Mike and I were up in Lowell on Monday. We received a $500,000 award from the EPA Brownfields program. So when we combine that with the $250,000 from Mass Development that we had received over the winter, we now have what we believe will be enough funds to remove that debris pile, which is a terrific thing. So the federal funds won't become available until October, so our clock will start running from there. We have the timelines for procurement and for the removal of the work, but we can also begin to work on our RFP. If it's our intention, having made this improvement, eliminated this impediment to development, if it's our decision to move forward, make the property available for development, we have to develop a request for proposals that will identify to interested parties what the town's priorities are, and will give a criteria for addressing those concerns. And, we can say it could be, we want the most money in return. It could be that we want the greatest number of jobs, which is what I think it would be. We could say that we want it in specific sectors like manufacturing. This will be a process where I believe working with Mr. Gibbons to make sure that everything is legally correct, I should say, legally sound. I suppose I will be making the proposal to you for your consideration. There may be a couple back and forth, but it's my hope that by this time next year, this property will be either someone else's or on its way to being someone else's.
So we can, Madam Chair, sorry, we can start the RFP process before October? Or
I
at
don't
least
think we
developing-
would issue it until we've completed the work, because in the work, we want to be able to,
But we can start thinking about what we want.
exactly right. And something tells me we may have already done one pass at that with the Surplus Properties Committee way back when with Mr. Busnell and Mr. DeVault. I'll have to check my files. to
I
see.
remember like a 3-option plan that mapped out different ways to get around the trouble spots.
Yeah,
And am I making that up?
nope, that was the
No, I
assessment we
think
did
that
with
was,
Mass Development.
if I may, I think that was Mass Development.
That was
They paid
Mass-
Mass Development to do,
yeah.
and they came up with 3 scenarios.
If I had to
think
look-
we got that back last fall.
Yeah, I was trying to remember when to look for it. So it's in my email
Yeah,
somewhere, I'll find it.
but that was really targeted at, okay, how do you develop this site maximally
Right.
if you're going to try to avoid the known areas of contamination? The
So we
subsurface.
getting out, taking this pile out, is that going to change that for the better, or it's still that way?
Well, no, we were assuming that pile was going to be gone,
Fine, okay.
because the remaining contamination is subsurface, but it's in specific areas. So if you don't disturb those areas, your cost of addressing it is greatly reduced.
Awesome, thank you.
And to that point, the memo on lead touched on communications. There was a nice article in the Worcester Business Journal about
Front
our,
page, or cover story.
Yeah, well, actually, I went to find the EPA, there was an article on the EPA grant, and when I opened up the page, there was a big cover story on theaters in central Massachusetts with the Strand featured. In fact, from what thanks, Sean was able to email me, Justin Barrett and I are cover
Bill's
boys.
gone big time.
So since that's come up, and I understand that the Strand has been intended to have been on, it's been on previous agendas, just want to give you an update on the Strand project and the status of ARPA funding. The project, as you may know, probably about 2 months ago, was listed with a broker. I believe 4 or 5 parties have come through. The broker is pre-vetting people before doing the showing. I can't say that there's anything firmly on the hook, but we continue to communicate weekly. We have a weekly Zoom call with the owner. We continue to press upon him the urgency of committing these funds prior to December 31st. The town funds of $300,000 are still out there. We have what we're calling a Plan A, which is to use these funds as a match for some success, for the improvements that some successive operator may make to the facility. We have talked about developing, we have begun to develop a Plan B for your board's consideration. If it becomes apparent in time that we're not going to find the right dancing partner before the clock runs out, it's my intent by September to have a Plan B for you, which, for your consideration. You guys can decide to do this or not. But to basically, of our own initiative, on a speculative basis, make an investment into the property and identify what $300,000 could do in terms of interior improvements to, there's some drywall that's falling down, or for removal of the screen and installation of a fixed screen, or some audio equipment. The work that we've done to date in contact with vendors, that stuff's really expensive. So that if the board chooses, if the board is concerned that we will not be able to meet Plan A, you'll have a Plan B for your consideration well in advance of a time where you will need to commit these funds, so that if you choose to say thanks but no thanks, you'll have time to reprogram these funds before December 31st. So that is our Plan B. I should say too, there was 100,000,
So just to clarify, of the 300,000, 150 of that is from the state and 150 of that is from the town, correct?
no, the state is $100,000,
Okay.
and we have $300,000.
Okay, so the total would be 4, okay.
Yeah, the $100,000 actually has been committed at the state level to marquee renovations.
Okay,
Effectively, the state sent out a letter saying we need to have these funds under contract by a date last month. And going through the ARPA guidelines, I think we're a little bit, because we won't be, I think we can, going under the ARPA guidelines, facade improvements are explicitly identified in the Department of Treasury guidance. So while we have talked in the past about perhaps using funds from the Community Development Fund to kind of like make a award on steroids from our Sign the Facade program, after communication with Mike and the owner, we agreed that we would put these funds towards marquee renovation because it would fly by the state level's review of the use of ARPA funds. So those are committed. We had a conversation with the owner about that this morning. The next thing that has to happen is that the roof of the marquee needs to be repaired. Not only does it need to be repaired, but it needs to be removed so that the engineer can continue and finalize his structural inspection. There's things he can't see right now, so he can't evaluate.
Madam Chairman? I thought part of this was, there had to be a commitment as well from the owner of that property.
That's the
I
plan.
mean, it shouldn't be all this investment on behalf of the town and that we're doing it for something that we don't own. Is that not our understanding? I mean, that was
Yes.
my understanding.
No, that is our plan
Oh, okay.
right now. What I said was, if that becomes untenable, I will bring for your consideration a proposal that would say, let's put our own money in on a speculative basis. And it would be for you to decide if that's something that you want to do, if you think there's a higher and better use of these funds. So, but just so that the clock doesn't just run out and we're sitting there having to give back $300,000 because we couldn't do what we thought was the best plan. It's my intention to have that plan before you, that proposal before you, 3 months in advance of the deadline.
Madam Chair, I thank you, Phil, for thinking outside the box, coming up with a Plan B. I would be in favor of it, but, you know, obviously it's going to be up to the board. But I think, I mean, it's a sin right now that we have a newly renovated downtown and a boarded-up theater at its centerpiece. So I'd very much be in favor of rolling the dice and on a speculative basis, investing in that, because I think the whole downtown area would benefit from a fully functioning center like the Strand could be. I mean, we've all talked about it, about the potential, and I do have to say, I've been, over the last couple months, there has been a lot more activity with an actual broker that's been facilitating interested parties. So it's looked a lot brighter than it has in the last couple of years. So I am hopeful that something happens quickly. I hope it's not too late, but I hope that, you know, come up with that Plan B, and hopefully we can have a discussion about it. And I hope the board considers sticking with the investment. We did everything we could with the Plan A to try. We did the right thing. The match was the right thing, but it's just a very complicated situation. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But thank you for coming up with a Plan B.
Okay.
And thank you for the update, appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. So are there any other questions concerning the Strand or any of those grant activities?
No?
Okay, terrific.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mike, did you have any more updates? or-
I did, yeah, so if we're on that, if you want to keep going,
Yeah.
just keep rolling with
Keep
that.
rolling with
Okay,
it.
thank you, Madam Chair. Yep. So a few other things I just want to bring to the board's attention tonight. One is, as most people, I'm sure know by now, but the middle school project was approved both at town meeting and at the ballot for debt exclusion. I attended a project committee meeting, a team meeting yesterday, and they're going to start right away, and they're going to be going strong through the summer. They have a lot of deadlines to meet in order to get this done in 3 years, so it's going to be quite a busy time. The next steps would be, in addition to the project team getting started, but next steps would be a project agreement that the town would have with the MSBA. That will be under review by town council, and we'll be probably looking, hopefully, at the next board meeting, or if not, depending on what the schedule is the board talks about, we'll try to get that for an upcoming board meeting. That outlines that we'll be getting the reimbursement from the state, so it puts in all the parameters and guidelines and the rules to get reimbursement. But in lieu of that, the project has been approved by MSBA and approved by the town, so the project team will get started. The second thing is, they have given me a cash flow sheet here, which I can share with the board. But the first year, we're looking at probably just under $4.5 million that are the town's local share. The total would be about $9.2 million that they'll need in this fiscal year of '25 coming up in order to get the work done that's slated in that timeline. They're estimating about a 53% reimbursement from the state, which would mean that it would be about $4.3, $4.4 million that the town would have to kick in. In order to make sure we have enough, we'll probably ask the treasurer to borrow a little bit more than that, whether it's 5 or 6 million, we come up with the final number. So the treasurer will start that process, and again, an upcoming meeting will be coming to the board with some bids and pricing to try to put in a temporary bond anticipation note for this first year. As we go through the project, we're only going to borrow the cash that the town needs to put in order to get through each year of the project. So MSBA will reimburse us. We'll then do a ban each year, which would be interest-only payment in order to cover those costs. And then at the end of the project, the MSBA will do a total audit, and then at the final number, they'll then give us the remainder of the reimbursement that's due the project, and then we'll do a permanent borrowing for whatever was left on the town side as to what our expenses. Right now, they're estimating it'll be $61.1 million, but that can go up or down as we go through the project. So I just wanted to let the board know that upcoming meeting that there will be some, the project agreement with the state, and also borrowing that will need to be done to keep this project on target. The next, just a quick update on the electric vehicle charging stations. The fee schedule pricing that approved by the select board has been put into the portal, programmed in, and now the 2 charging stations are back operational again. So we'll monitor to see what we bring in for funding each year based on that action. So next, I just wanted to give a preliminary update to the board about the Veteran Advisory Council. As the board had talked about in a previous meeting, the Assistant Town Administrator was doing some surveys of area communities, and it appears that the more towns out there have these Veteran Advisory Councils, Veteran Councils, which are nonprofit organizations. They're generally made up of the veteran groups themselves, and they meet to collaborate, and it's not really run by the town. You know, cities like Fitchburg, Shrewsbury, Southbridge, they kind of do it in that mode. Angela did find that Holden and Westboro, that they have town veteran advisory councils, so that are appointed by the select board, and that the VSO would work with to, come up with, I think one of the Holden, the purpose is to provide advice on matters relating to Holden veterans, such as the status of the veterans community in specific areas of interest or concern. Committee is open to registered voters and veterans discharged under honorable circumstances. Westboro Advisory Board there's there's 7 members with the Select Board representative in Holden. There's 9 members in Westboro. And the Westboro Council advocates for military veterans to ensure that veterans in Westboro are treated with dignity and respect, promulgates information about benefits and policies to raise awareness to the public about veteran specific matters, and renders assistance to the veterans service officer as needed as volunteers. So we'll kind of dive in a little bit more and maybe come up with some draft mission statements and see if there is any particular designation of who these representatives are. You know, most of them have select board members on them. The VSO is kind of ex officio or on the committee, but also are they just veterans or are they citizens, and are the veteran groups represented and that type of thing. So we're continuing to work on that project, so I just want to give an update on that.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Mike, so basically, the research you guys have done, there's 2 options. One where it's total grassroots in the community, the groups do their own council, and then they approach the veterans agent or the board with different requests or initiatives or anything. And then the other option would be, we would create like an appointed board, like all the other boards that we appoint. That's okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it would probably be a good idea at a future meeting to invite the groups that are gonna be a part of this to, it seems like that would be kind of the first fork in the road, is do they wanna run this themselves and, right? Or would they want us to kind of get it going by making it like an official board that like we appoint, you know? And I think I'd be interested to hear what their feedback on that is, because I could see 2 sides of it. I could see it's just getting started, so it might be easy for us to like help in that capacity of like getting and making it an official board, but then I could also see them wanting to kind of retain, you know, not have us be appointing members to their board. So either way, I could see, I think we should consider inviting them to a future meeting just to discuss. It seems to me like that's kind of the first decision that we should make about how this committee is going to be formed.
Sure. If that's something the
Thank
board
you.
feels like to entertain.
You know, I would think that having yourself and the veterans agent maybe kind of sit down and like we've talked about before, like what do you want the mission, you know, what would be a possible mission for that committee? And then I think that having them reach out to those organizations would probably be ideal, and kind of iron that out and then come to the select board with a recommendation. That's what we had kind of spoke about initially, was having that group come up with a recommendation versus hashing it out here.
Does that sound good? Research it a little
Yep,
bit more?
we'll continue, putting some kind of guidelines together, and then kind of do twofold. We'll talk to the groups and then see if we'll have when we bring anything back, the veteran groups could come to that meeting as well too, and have that roundtable discussion with maybe some guidelines. Okay.
When you met with these groups initially, they were interested in this, right? That was kind of the outcome of the meeting, that there would be,
Right,
like,
yeah.
there's
I
interest,
think
we're
they,
not just kind of manufacturing it to try to solve it. It sounded like from that meeting, it was,
exactly.
an
They,
appetite
yeah,
for
they
it.
did express interest in wanting to, be involved, to help, to have input, to give assistance or volunteer as needed. I think some of the veteran groups seem to be more familiar with these councils than we were, so that's why we needed to see whether it was, I think initially we thought it was, well, maybe a lot of these towns have their own boards, but it seems to be a majority of them have nonprofit councils that appoint themselves, and they bring issues forward to the town. So it was helpful, I think, going through to find out what the different models are out there. But yes, the groups did express interest in wanting to be involved in some capacity. It's just trying to define what that model will be.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Just a quick notice, FYI, I think it was in the packet as well, that the member, Mr. Bernard Hastings from the Finance Committee had resigned his position. We thank him for his time on the Finance Committee and for his service to the town. And the town moderator has appointed Mark Blevinger of Clinton to replace that slot. Just want to give a quick facilities update, just a couple things that Mr. Farragut had shared about projects that they had done. And within the department, I think, I asked him, and Brian's good about, working together and keep me updated, but I thought it would be helpful. There are warrant articles that put forward that specify different things that he asked for at town meeting, so those are pretty tangible. But then there are other projects that take place that are done with just budget line item. So a lot of times the public really doesn't know what took place just with those operational monies. So some of the things that were done in FY '24 at the police station, there were new cabinets and renovation to the break room over at the lower level of the police station. New gas heaters were installed in the Sally Port and the downstairs garage bay. And they are, whether it's been done or planned to be done this spring, some exterior painting of the trim around the police station outside, which will be done this year. At the fire station, again, there were some new kitchen cabinets and a oven hood installed in their break room. There also some heating and cooling units are scheduled to be installed this spring, late spring, early summer. And those two projects down there. And senior center, the exterior painting of the main building, carriage house, was completed. And there was a renovation of the third floor that was done to allow it to be certified for occupancy. So now they are using the 3 floors. They were only certified for the first 2, but by doing that work to get it up to code, they are now using most of that building. The 4th floor is mostly for storage right now. So the library, there was some updates to the community room. They installed security cameras and some outdoor lighting. At Fuller Field, there were new windows in the clubhouse that were put in, plumbing upgrades for the restrooms and concession stands, and netting on the big diamond was repaired. The Foster Fountain was painted, and they are looking to, again, this June, early July, to do the paving of the high school and the elementary school parking lots with funding from last fiscal year. Some of the projects that they have been getting pricing on but haven't been completed yet. They were doing some new flooring on the main level of the office area for the library, and new garage doors at the fire station, new windows at the fire station, and waiting on estimates for a number of items at the town hall. Would be exterior painting of frames, window frames and soffit, window cleaning, vent cleaning, auditorium floor refinishing, and painting updates in the interior common spaces of the building, including the auditorium. So just some projects that are kind of been done this year and ongoing, and we'll try to get a list of what Mr. Farragut is looking to do for FY '25 as well.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Mike, could we just track back to the fountain? Several people have asked me why it's not on. Is there a problem with the water?
I'm not exactly sure of the problem why it's not on. I know there were people working on it today, under, underground, so it may be just in getting the plumbing and the piping together, but I'll certainly look into that and get an answer for you
Thanks.
as to when they plan on having it operational.
Madam Chairman, just one other issue that is the roof. I mean, I would like to see us verify before winter comes again that we don't have any parcels of roof that fall off again. I don't know, I'm not convinced that there's not a major issue there, because I know when it was installed, it was guaranteed for 75 years, so. And we have a big leak at the corner here, so obviously there's, we have some leaking that's coming, water's coming in, so, I mean, I think that's an important issue that you solve before you get another winter come across.
Okay, sure. I'll ask Mr. Farragut if we could do an inspection and evaluation of the building roof. Thank you. Just a couple other
All
things,
right.
sorry. Just a few public works items. The water annual consumer confidence report has been finalized. It's published on the town website. It's here in hard copy at the town hall. Anyone would like to get their own hard copy, feel free to call Public Works and they can mail one out to you. Paving will be started. They've already done the evaluation of the, what can I think of the pipes in the ground. The National Grid does the
Conduits?
Infiltration? It's like, it's the I&I.
yeah, no,
No?
just where they just mark out all of the.
Safe dig?
Yeah, dig
safe.
safe.
Dig safe.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't think of that. So the National Grid has done the dig safe for all the paving projects. So hoping in the next couple of weeks that the contractors will start gearing up to come into town. The big project will be Chestnut Street and going up Church Street. So it would be resurfacing in sidewalks from Church to Mechanic Street. So that whole stretch, and then up Church Street to kind of connect with the sidewalk that was done in front of the senior center, to continue that along up the hill as well too. So we'll start seeing some work done on that. Also, the sidewalks that the board had approved on Greeley Street, that's part of that project, and also resurfacing on East Street, and then some of the connector roads from High to East, some of those short little connector roads. So that whole neighborhood will then be done as well too, so that'll be great. So those projects we'll be seeing in the next couple of weeks. You'll see some activity on those. Also, the trash and recycle calendar for FY25, the department's finalizing that. What they've done in the past is kind of leave them with the recycle bins all around town. What they were going to try this year was doing a distribution via social media on the town website and have them here at Town Hall and mail out to anyone that requests them. Generally in the past, we've kind of made thousands of them and kind of just put them in each bin as we went along. I don't know if people appreciate that or how effective, or if they've used, or if they stayed in the bin and they weren't taken out. And I know at my house, we posted on one of the kitchen closets so that we know when they're coming. And mostly the schedule stays the same. The biggest thing that people really look for is the holiday schedule. So then they change dates, and Monday holidays are always the same, but the floating holidays that change to different days, those get a little bit confusing when you're not used to it. So that's their plan so far. So if anyone has any input on that, please let us know. But they're going to try doing kind of a electronic distribution of the calendars this year and see how it goes. And the final item, just kind of wanted to highlight, the board probably noticed around this room here, that the robotic cameras have been not installed, but they've been erected, and the cabling now has to be done to actually connect them and install them to the broadcast system. so that those can be started. So it's going to make broadcasting meetings from this room so much easier, that it's going to be one location, that they would just have to be able to control everything. And there will be eventually then, when this room is done, moving out to do the robotic cameras in the auditorium as well too. So production-wise, it's going to make things a lot easier. And there are 3 cameras, and it pretty much is set up to get any angle in this room right now. So that's definitely moving along. And then over the summer too, we'll be procuring for a design architect to start putting together specs for the studio that will be downstairs as well too. So our hope is it's going to go into the back. The hope is that we're going to be able to make a straight shot from as the lower level floor is kind of a T, and if you go down the T, you'll see the permitting office, and then it kind of stops and goes into storage from there. We're hoping to be able to extend that all the way in, and at the end of that T will be where the studio will be. So hopefully it'll be a lot easier to access by doing it that way as well too. There's a solid wall there, but we think it should be stable enough to handle a cutout of a doorway to get through into the studio space. So that's exciting moving forward on a lot with Mark McMahon has done a lot of upgrading equipment and a lot of purchased equipment, a lot of design, a lot of thought going into the project. So now to actually physically see the outcome of that, it's good stuff. Good stuff happening. So.
Sounds like a great time to start recording some more meetings for other boards.
Yep, we're high-tech now. Thank you for all
Good,
those
so thank you,
updates.
that's what I have right now. I have a few other things we can do at next meeting. Give you a better update, where I have a meeting tomorrow with our engineer, software, whole system engineer for the IT upgrade. So I'm meeting with them tomorrow, so maybe by next meeting we'll have more of an update, detailed update on that as well too.
Excited about that one.
I was expecting an email on July 2nd from
Yeah.
Microsoft, so.
I know.
Office 365. Yeah, so
I've never
thank
been
you.
so excited about Office 365 ever. Thank you. Is there anything else, Michael? Are we good, Mike? Is that good?
That's good,
Thank you so much. Those are some great updates. Appreciate it. All right, next item is 2024 taxi livery license renewal. The Select Board has received information for the annual livery license renewal from Jacqueline Salisbury, doing business as Clinton Livery, operating at 637 High Street in Clinton.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. Okay. Next up is old and new business. Okay. Municipal aggregation consultant contract. The Assistant Town Administrator is recommending an award of a consultant contract to Colonial Power Group, Inc. to manage the municipal aggregation program for Clinton.
So just a quick review of that. The Assistant Town Administrator has been heading up this project, and it seems that Colonial Power, most communities, definitely in our area, and quite a few communities in the state use Colonial Power for this. So it is something through energy procurement that we can go out and procure, who we think is best for the town. So this firm is the one that did some preliminary work for town meeting, and now they've given a proposal that they will kind of handle everything from here now. They'll do all the RFPs, they'll do the negotiating, and then they'll bring a final product back to the Select Board to adopt if it's something that we feel is the interest of the town, that they'll come forward with something at that point. So I think Angela's is putting forward to see if the board was ready to move forward on hiring the consultant.
Madam Chair, is there a cost that I'm missing on this, or?
Yeah, I think it's 0.0001 cents.
Oh, we take it off?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so whatever energy is billed out, as a lot of times what happens with brokerage firms is that they do bill out a fee per monthly fee based on usage of energy.
So do the users pay that, or is the town paying that?
That would pay each, it would be on, I believe, that's good, definitely a good question, because I only was familiar with when we were getting our own bills.
Right.
So we would be paying it because it would be on our bill. So whether it's on, I believe, and I'll double check this, that it would be on all of the bills. So whoever the user is, that charge would come on their
Gotcha.
bill. So, but that's a good question. I'll double check on that. So I know we've done in the past where we've procured directly from an energy supplier. We've used a consultant that the school has used, and most recently, we're going with another energy supplier again that we've used with the organization from Ohio. So I'll find out an answer to that question as well.
Thank you.
Okay, so should we wait till those questions are answered before we?
Yeah, and if the board wanted to, get answers to that and review, we can do it at the next meeting. There's no timeline on it. And the payment wouldn't commence until the board would adopt a program anyway, so it
Okay.
really would take effect if we actually end up buying power on behalf of the town, so.
Okay.
So they would do all the legwork, and if we find out that it's not something that's gonna work, then they're really doing it, for the support in order to then get the management of the project at the end, so.
Okay. All right, so
So we
we'll
could,
just move forward with that, or get that question answered, and then we can just vote on it next time.
sure, yep.
Sound good? All right, Central Mass Law next item, Central Mass Law Enforcement Council Mutual Aid Agreement. The police chief is requesting endorsement of a revised mutual aid agreement with the Central Massachusetts Law Enforcement Council.
Sure, so Madam Chair, this is a recommendation of the police chief. We're currently a member of this mutual aid agreement right now. They ended up, they haven't revised it in a number of years, and I guess there's a lot of new police chiefs in the area, so they wanted to kind of take another pass at it, make sure everybody got a copy of it, make sure everyone, it's up to date and meeting all the expectations. So they had taken some time to put together a new document. They circulated it to all the member communities. Chief Coyne has submitted this to town council. They've reviewed it. They had a couple of questions, and council for the Central Mass Law Enforcement group ended up answering those questions to their satisfaction. So now it's just a matter of having the board endorse it and adopt it for the town of Clinton. So it's something that they're already doing right now. It's just updated language to reflect the operations.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Did anything change significantly? I mean, we still have the same mutual aid agreements with towns?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Everything's all the same in terms of the agreements. I think it was just some wording was tweaked and
Great.
updated here and there, yep, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And just to make a note too, I think of the chief mentioned to me that even though it's all Central Mass, they kind of do work within their neighborhoods. So unless it was some catastrophic event where they needed everybody to go, say, down to Oxford or that, it's not that they would be running across the county doing mutual aid every day for faraway towns. Everyone kind of stays within their area unless it's something big, and then they draw from the other towns after that. So it'll be just kind of the same normal operations that they've been doing all along for years. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Police summer block dances. The Clinton Police Relief Association is requesting permission to block off Union Street between Chestnut Street and Walnut Street from 6 PM to 10 PM for 8 Thursday nights during June and August to conduct their annual youth summer block dances.
I have a question.
Sure.
Isn't the Terringano's Classic Cars, isn't that on July 18th?
I have it in my calendar.
That's
one
another
second.
good question. I'm not exactly sure what
I
date that
I
was. Yep.
think it was on,
I have it on the 18th, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
but June, there's, okay, I guess June through August is a lot more than 8, so I don't know. Oh, they must be in the letter.
Yeah, I think there were a
Yeah.
couple of,
Nine.
there were a
Okay.
couple of dates that they're not doing them on.
Yeah,
in the
okay.
letter. Like, I don't believe they're not doing
July
4th of
3rd.
July, obviously,
Mhm.
and,
you're right, there's
so
9
it does have July
dances
18th
listed.
though as one of them,
Okay.
so. And I think they're expanding this year. I know that when they brought the letter over, they indicated that they were expanding, they were gonna try going up to 8, so I think they would have flexibility, so if that's, if you wanna hold on that date, if that's already been approved, we can hold on that date, and we'll just get back to them and let them know that that's already been secured, so.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve the request from the Clinton Police Relief Association for their block dances on June 20th, June 27th, July 11th, July 25th, August 1st, August 8th, August 15th, and August 22nd, and hold off on the 18th until we can look into it further.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 5-0. Someone was just asking me about the block dances, so I'll be happy to hear this. All right, next item is request for proposals for lease of gymnasium space. The town administrator is looking for approval to begin the procurement process for the lease of gymnasium space in Clinton.
So, Madam Chair, again, on this issue, I know, we had discussed in executive session kind of some negotiations. We still don't have all the details, but there is confidence that at the end of the summer, that there might be some space available. We've talked about the need for space for cheerleading and other events in town, that indoor space is getting tight and at a premium. I still am very confident that at the end of the summer that there will be some ability to lease space if we so want to go that route. But in order to do that, we need to go through a procurement process. So I just thought, as the board goes into summer break, summer schedule, that we could at least get this process started over the summer, as it takes about 30 days to go through that procurement process, probably, 4 to 6 weeks, so that then over one of the summer, maybe late summer meetings, we might have a response. And there may or may not be a response, but at least if we get started, we'll see what response we do get. But like I say, I'm fairly confident that come beginning of September, that there would be some space that would be freed up that could satisfy the needs that we have right now in town. So.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion that we approve the request for proposal for the lease of gym space.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Alrighty. Annual appointment of boards and commissions, the Select Board's annual review of appointments to permanent boards and commissions.
Sure, Madam Chair. I wasn't looking for action on this item, mostly just update. We're still finalizing with the current, going through to work with the current people that are up in 2024 to see if they are looking to stay on and get confirmation who wants to be on through the advertisement process. And there was a form on the town website, so if anybody is still interested, we're still looking for people to get involved. But I believe so far, the only responses that we've had, I believe there were 3 for Historical Commission, 2 for Cultural Council, and 1 for ZBA. So some of those boards, we're not sure. Cultural Council, there definitely is a vacancy. Some of those other boards, if the Select Board is looking to reappoint people, there may not be openings on all those boards that people have applied for. We generally do a notice of all the boards and then, see who applies and then check with the current people and then produce the full list to the Select Board to decide who you feel would be best for the upcoming year. So there are boards that have vacancies that we have not gotten any names for, those being the Personnel Board and Conservation Commission. Weeks Fund, which is the one-year board. Cultural Council is a vacancy, but we have received names for those boards as well too. So there's some multiple names for boards that may or may not have an opening, and no names for other boards that still have vacancies. So please, if anyone that's listening, please check the town website. It will have a list of all the committees and a sign-up form if you're willing to volunteer for the town. So probably by next meeting, we'll just kind of put forward. I do have a list to share with the board of who currently is up this year. So you can take a look at that, but by next meeting, we'll at least give you all of the letters of interest at that point and have a check off as to yes, no, who wants to stay on. So we did have one vacancy, which was in the packet from the town, not as town moderator, he was doing as a town citizen, Terry Engano, who resigned from the Cultural Council. And again, thank him for his service on that council because he was very involved with it and worked with the state and worked with the other members to kind of keep that going. So we thank him for that. So that's what's created the vacancy on the Cultural Council. So certainly we're still looking for people, so please sign up.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I also noticed an email in the Select Board inbox this morning about the Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission. I guess we have an opening there. Do we have to appoint somebody for that?
Right, there would be 2. There's the planning board on the Montezut Regional Planning Commission, and there's also the Montezut Regional Transportation it's a kind of a subgroup council of the MRPC. The planning board has the actual town appointment, but the Select Board get to appoint an alternate, and if there isn't a member, or if that member can't attend, the alternate would essentially be the member giving a vote for the town as well too. So if there's someone interested in transportation issues, absolutely. Generally, what we put forward, if we don't have any interest, Mr. Duffy has done it in the past and at least represented the town, because that's the committee that sets up the transportation improvement project. So the tip with all the federal and state projects that go on there. Currently, we have Sterling Street on that right now, and that committee are the ones that vote which ones get on, and we're hoping that there will be some shuffling because there reportedly are some projects that we're going to get ready for next year that may not be ready to go, and we were for 27, I think FY27, but we might get bumped up to FY26. So if over FY25 we finish our design, that then in FY26 we might be able to do construction to get that road done. Otherwise, it would be FY27, which we're definitely slotted for FY27, and we are definitely ready for design at that point. So that committee, again, if it comes up that there's going to be movement, then that's the committee that will be voting on it. So to have a representative there would be great. And again, Mr. Duffy has been good enough to step in when we need them, but if someone in the community is willing to do it, that's great too.
Yeah, I mean, I would just assume if Phil's willing to keep being the alternate, can I make a motion to, or do you want to check with him and see? Or do you want to check and see, or
Sure,
should we
yeah,
just?
Yeah, or he can, yeah, you could just, I'm sure he'd be glad to do it, so, yep, so I could check with him, or you could vote him.
Yeah, I'll move
Make
that
him
we
do it.
appoint Phil Duffy as our alternate to the, represent Clinton on the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And so there's a form there, I don't know if you saw it, but.
Yeah, no, thank you, and that'd be, and definitely, if something then comes up in the next several months, at least we know we have somebody that's
Yeah.
official
Thank you.
to be able to go and vote, thank you.
Select board meeting schedule.
So just kind of, I know this month kind of was off a bit with the Juneteenth holiday next week, so
Yeah.
whether the board was going to do the 2nd and the 4th, or we do need to have a meeting of the Select Board and Finance Committee by July 15th to do the year-end transfers.
Okay.
The Finance Committee is meeting July 9th, so
Okay.
we probably would like something sooner than later in July. So if the board wanted to meet on the 26th, and then again, a couple weeks later, or if you just wanted to kind of push out until early July and just meet once at that time, you could do that as well. And then if you get to that point, then if you then wanted to do something in August as well. So I don't foresee, as of right now, knock on wood, anything critical for 2 weeks from now for the 26th. Anything, I doubt that that project agreement will be ready from the MSBA. It definitely should be ready by a July meeting. So in that 26th meeting, if the board wanted to kind of hold that to the call of the chair and then meet in July and August, it's up to the board. So just wanted to put that out there for discussion, and otherwise, we'll go from there.
Okay. Do we have any, I have a bunch tentatively penciled in, so am I just blocking off time? We don't have anything like firmly scheduled right now, do we?
Right.
Okay. And there's 5 Wednesdays in July, so,
Madam Chair, what about if, could we meet on the 10th?
yeah, that's what I
Sure.
was thinking too.
Yep.
And then maybe the next time, so at some point in August?
Yeah.
We did like the
So-
7th or the 14th, maybe the 7th,
I think-
August 7th?
Can we
Yeah.
could we just leave it that you can, Madam Chairman, speak to the administrator and see if there's issues that need to be, that we have to meet?
Yeah, let's.
And then
You
that,
wanna-
we could leave it that way.
Yeah, let's definitely meet the 10th because we have to sign
Right,
the
we have to do the
paperwork.
transfers, yeah.
And then maybe at the 10th, if there's like some critical things that we need
Sure.
or,
And that might be
Maybe
good
once
too,
a-
that's based on, people's holiday or
Yeah.
holiday schedules, vacation schedules for August. Then the chair could coordinate that with the members to see what would
Sure.
work after the 10th of July.
okay. Let's tentatively schedule one, or let's schedule one for July 10th for sure. And then, I don't know if anyone is around August 7th, that would be the first Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah, and
any
Just leave it
August
open
ones?
and,
then it would be September 4th would be the next.
Next. All right, well,
Yeah, that
let's,
sounds good.
yeah. All right, let's schedule one for July 10th with tentative on August 7th. And then on the 10th, we can just reassess and see if there's pressing things that need more attention, then we can meet twice in August. Because then there's 1, 2, yeah. Okay, sounds good. All right, any committee reports?
I'll be meeting with Angela about Old Home Day, so we'll have some information for our next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Madam Chairman, I know that the Booster Club is doing a golf and doing a fundraiser, so I would make a motion that the Board of Selectmen, through our civic fund, do a donation to the Gales Booster Club for that event. And I don't know if
I
they made a
actually-
request last
Yeah, I
year or
think
not.
I was in charge of sending the information, but I thought we were meeting again on the 26th, so I didn't have that added, but if we could.
But I don't think,
make-
yeah, I mean,
make that
we know the
donation, that
event
would
and
be-
everything, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if they made a donation last year, or,
Do you want to do 500?
yeah, I'll make a motion, 500,
Second.
For how much?
500.
I can send the paperwork. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. All right. Community announcements. Back to our boards and commissions. Volunteers needed. The Select Board is seeking interested individuals to serve on various town boards and commissions. Please visit the town website, www.clintonmass.gov, and go to the Boards and Commissions page for a list of all boards and terms of appointments. An online application is available on this page for your convenience. Applications are rolling.
Strike the
Strike,
deadline.
yeah. Maybe, when's the next time we're meeting?
July 10th.
July 10th. Maybe, applications are due by July 3rd at 4 PM. You can also find this information on the news flash on the front of the homepage on our website. Council on Aging, the Council on Aging is seeking per diem van drivers to bring residents to various appointments. For more information or to download an application, visit the town website under Job Opportunities. For information about hours, please contact Sherry at the Council on Aging at 978-733-4747. And the Clinton Library Challenge, readers aged 18 and up are invited to join us as we compete against libraries in other towns named Clinton for a summer reading challenge. We'll take on readers from Clinton, New York, New Jersey, Clinton County, Pennsylvania, and Clinton, Iowa, to see who can read the most this summer. All you have to do is keep track of how long you spend reading each week. Download the form from the library website, www.bigelowlibrary.org. I did this last year, and it's really fun, and all the reading includes magazines, books, and does include audiobooks, which you can download for free with the library app. Okay. We will be leaving open session to go to executive session. Go into roll call.
Ed DeVault, aye.
Sean Kerrigan, aye.
Matt Cobus, aye.
Mary Dickard, aye.
Julie Bruce, aye.
Thank you. It should be very brief.
Okay, we will not be returning to cable, video, all these video cameras.